am not a child loved by my parents. I knew it very early. When I was 4 or 5 years old, my mother took me to many hospitals for examinations. Before going in, she always told me to laugh silly, spit and roll on the ground, and yell when I saw the doctor. As long as you do it, I will buy you pleasant goat cotton candy. I did it obediently. The tile floor of the hospital was mopped very clean. When I rolled and screamed, I saw my distorted face printed on the ground. It was really ugly. I performed very hard, but the doctor didn't believe it. There was no problem with the examination. I couldn't give you a diagnosis of intellectual disability. When we left, he said meaningfully that if the girl is well trained, she will be better than the son in the future. Don't think that the child is young and can't remember things. When he grows up and understands it, he will be very sad. When I came out of the hospital, there was a pleasant goat cotton candy seller at the door. I pulled my mother's hand. She was annoyed and turned around and slapped me. Eat, 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 just eat. Do you know how much money I spent taking you to see doctors this year? People were coming and going in the hospital and everyone looked at me. I covered my face, choked and whispered, "But Mom, I'm not sick at all." Adults are really strange. When I really had a cough and a fever, they didn't pay much attention to me, but when I was jumping around, they went to see doctors everywhere to prove that I was seriously ill. My parents didn't get a disability certificate in the end. At the New Year's Eve dinner that year, my grandmother's face was downcast. She had been lax in her management 2 years ago. It would have been fine if she had done this. Now it's good. When I kick my legs, I don't know how to explain to your dad when I get to the underground. Mom frowned and sighed. It's like this now. I can't throw away my iron rice bowl for a child. Although I am the only child in the family, I have never enjoyed strong and full love. My parents' unit is only a few hundred meters away from my elementary school. Whenever it rains heavily, the parents of other children in the courtyard will try to ask for leave to pick them up, but they won't. Sometimes I meet kind uncles and aunts who will let me squeeze an umbrella. If I don't catch up, I will have to go home in the rain. My mother said it's only 2 miles away. If you walk along the storefronts on the street, you won't get wet. When other children get sick with fever and cough, their parents are so anxious that they can't sleep well all night. But my mother will tell me to put the kettle next to the bed and pour it myself when I want to drink water at night. Cover your cough with a quilt. Your father and I have to go to work tomorrow. At that time I thought maybe it's because I'm not good enough. So I study very hard. There are 6 classes in our grade and I have always been in the top 3. When people in the courtyard praise me for being smart, my parents will indeed laugh more happily. This child is worry-free. We haven't really managed his studies, but that's all. I went to participate in various competitions again. In the city, I won the first prize in the theme speech competition of my mother. The other children were accompanied by their families and stood on the stage with medals for group photos. Only I held the medal alone and pulled a stiff smile at the camera. The huge black hole-like camera seemed to be laughing at me. Look, it's exposed. The mother in the speech is not your real mother. She is just a fake mother you made up by flipping through many books and searching many web pages. At that time, my mother did not teach me physiological knowledge, and I came to the white early. There was a period of time when it was particularly frequent. My underwear was often wet. I was very scared and didn't know what it was, so I asked my mother. As a result, she frowned fiercely and said with disgust, "You must not pay attention to hygiene in your daily life, so you will have so much. Don't show it to me in the future, just wipe it yourself." This incident hurt me a lot. It happened to be the midterm exam. I failed the exam and fell out of the top 100 in the grade. The head teacher called my mother and asked her if I had encountered anything recently. My grades dropped a lot, but my mother was not angry. It is normal for children to have ups and downs. I will pay attention to it. I was very sad and got angry with my parents. You don't care about what I do. You don't love me at all. My parents got angry this time. We provide you with food and drink, buy you clothes, shoes, and tutoring books. We give you pocket money and pay extra money to send you to cram school. Isn't that enough? Gu Shanglan, what else do you want? We want us to take out our hearts and show you whether we have engraved your name. At that moment I was happy and terrified. I was happy that they really loved me, but I was afraid that they would think I was greedy. But this feeling only lasted for a few days, and life became what it used to be. There was always an invisible wall between me and my parents that I couldn't cross. I feel like a sentence in the corner of an old house, withering quietly in winter, sprouting silently in spring, and blooming silently in autumn. But even if it blooms the fullest and most brilliant flowers in life, no one will squat down and say to it with a smile, "You are so beautiful." People around me say that you are their only child. If they don't love you, who else can they love? Yes, they only have me and they can only love me. So I don't care. Grandma said that after the Gu family died out, he would be too ashamed to see Grandpa. I pretended to listen and ignored the gossips of the country relatives, saying that girls were useless and that a son was more important. They asked my parents to secretly have another child while they were young. It didn't matter, they had no choice. I comforted myself like this as I grew up and entered the third year of junior high school. It was the end of 2015. Following the one-child policy at the end of 2013, starting in 2015, all kinds of rumors said that the universal two-child policy would be relaxed soon. At that time, there were a lot of news about this, such as the mother was pregnant with a second child, the eldest child's grades plummeted because the mother was pregnant with a second child, the eldest child jumped off the building because the mother was pregnant with a second child, and the eldest child was so angry that he pushed the mother down and caused a miscarriage. At the dinner table that day, I nervously handed in my monthly exam report card. I had dropped from the top 30 in the grade to over 80 in the grade. I was worried about being scolded. After my mother glanced at the report card, she said that the unit had arranged for me to study in another place, which would take a year. The study in the third year of junior high school was intense, and your father didn't know how to take care of people. You should live on campus in the future. You must concentrate on your studies and don't think about anything else. At that time, I foolishly thought that they were considering my future. I didn't want to disappoint their arrangements. From winter to summer, I studied hard every day and night. In the last mock exam, I got the second best score in the school. Even the head teacher praised me, Gu Shanglan, and said that as long as you can maintain this score, you will definitely be in the top 30 in the county, and then you can enter the key school in the city. The best high school in my county is number 1 middle school, but in recent years, educational resources have been continuously concentrated in the city, and the good teachers in the county have been poached. In the case of expanding university enrollment, the rate of number 1 middle school has been declining year by year. It is obviously a better choice to go to the key school. After this conversation, the school gave us a 3-day holiday to let us adjust ourselves before the exam. I took the transcript home, and I couldn't wait to tell my parents that I had the hope of trying for the key school. I could be the most promising among their colleagues. Child, I can win face for them. I met an old lady on the way selling ginger flowers. Mom loves this flower very much. She would always buy a bunch when she saw it in the past. So I used the money I was going to use to buy Wu Dalong's pancakes to buy a big bunch so that he would be able to see it when we video chat later. I ran all the way back to the family building. I didn't know whose family had a happy event. The firecracker debris downstairs was piled high. Clusters of small branches under the magnolia tree were in full bloom. Grandpa Lee from the building next door was exercising on the creaking old fitness equipment. He looked at me with a smile and pity. Shanglan, congratulations, you're going to be a sister. Yes, a sister. The deepest fear in my heart erupted at this moment. My heart was beating like a drum. I ran up to the 5th floor in one breath. I opened the door and the house was bustling. A bunch of people surrounded my mother. She was wearing a hat and holding a red, furry baby in her arms. She was very proud. Shanglan was just born with a pointed chin and monkey cheeks. I thought the nurse had taken the baby by mistake. Look at Shangjia, she's so white and plump. Everyone agreed. It's hard for you to give birth naturally at 8.5 kilograms. You two have worked in formal units for so many years. We already have a house and a car. Now that we have a son, these will be inherited by someone. You are lucky to have caught the last train. If I were 5 years younger, I could have given it a try. My throat was choked by thousands of broken glass. I spoke with difficulty. Mom. Everyone looked at me. My mother's face changed drastically, as if I were a scourge. She hugged the child in her arms tightly and asked, "Then why didn't you call in advance when you came back?" I walked forward quickly, wanting to see the child. The guests gathered around me, pulling my arms, trapping my hands and feet, and trying to persuade me in kind, saying, "Your parents hid it from you because they were afraid it would affect your studies. Now that you have a younger brother, you won't be afraid of being bullied by your in-laws when you get married in the future. They were so painstaking, all for you. You must never have any thoughts of harming your brother." How ridiculous. From childhood to adulthood, this is the first time they have been so concerned about me. They had set up such a grand scam and made me the only clown who was deceived. I was so excited that I smashed the pots and pans, overturned the chairs and roared at the guests. I won't. I need a younger brother, but I don't. He is not my support at all. He is here to snatch my parents from me. Friends and relatives have blamed me. Your parents have endured for 15 years for you. You should also understand them and not be so selfish. The old saying makes sense. Daughters are ungrateful people who can never be tamed. The guests scattered and the house was in a mess. The pure ginger flower fell to the ground and was stepped on countless times, turning into an ugly puddle of dirt. Mom asked Grandma to take my brother back to the bedroom, locked the door, came over and held my hand. You are the older sister. Mom and Dad raised you for 15 years and spent so much time and energy on you. Now even if you have a younger brother, you are still the one they love the most. I smiled and smiled until tears welled up in my eyes. Mom, I have grown up. I am no longer the child who would not be fooled by a piece of pleasant goat cotton candy. I haven't eaten for more than 2 days. At first, Mom coaxed me with kind words, but later she became a little impatient. We are at your expense. Are you dressed? Who are you trying to show off to? Why don't you help take care of it? Forget about your younger brother, but you also asked me, a woman in confinement, to serve you and comfort Nini. How could you be so selfish? Grandma rolled her eyes. You usually spoil him too much. Never mind that he will eat when he is hungry. How can he starve himself to death? Through the thin door I heard Gu Shangjia crying in the middle of the night. At 2 or 3 in the morning, his mother was still walking around with him, singing lullabies to him in a soft voice. I heard my mother crying anxiously when she found out she had no milk. Dad drove all over the county at 1 o'clock in the morning, looking for a maternal and child store that was open to buy milk powder. Gu Shangjia just coughed twice. Dad. But Mom was so anxious that she wanted to go to the hospital. It turned out that they didn't know how to love their children, but they just didn't love me. I lay in bed watching the sun rise and set, the moon bright and dark, the sun and the moon cycle. Sometimes every day is a new life, but I am afraid that after my life falls, there will never be a time to rise again. Just when I was in despair, my aunt who was far away called me. She was the unfilial daughter in my grandmother's eyes. She went to college and lived in a big city. 怎么办? 11:25 p.m. 我还在水中放了爸爸。他早吃什么意思？他只想查找的哪家好？阿面的哪家？他只想查找的哪家好？他只想查找了。他只想一直在的哪一个？ English. He got a good job in the city, but he didn't get married at an old age, rarely went home, and never gave back to his parents. At home he was not close to my father but was okay to me. I remember when I was a child I had a runny nose all winter, and my parents and grandmother didn't take it seriously, saying that I was unhygienic and that it was a rare occasion for me to come home. My aunt took me to the hospital to register, got medicine worth about 20 yuan, and cured the problem. He didn't contact me much but he would send me extracurricular books every year. He advised me, Xingnan, the more this happened the more I should cheer up. Only by getting into a good high school and a good university can I get out of that home like me. Are you willing to just rot at home like this? I forced myself to get up and went to the kitchen to find something to eat. I broke a bowl and alarmed my grandmother. She went into the kitchen cursing, and I said that no fool would starve herself to death. Do you know how many people in your parents' unit got pregnant and secretly went for an ultrasound? If it was a girl, they would keep the baby and get pregnant again. Your parents knew you were a girl at the time, but they still insisted on getting you pregnant again. You were born, what else do you have to be dissatisfied with? Mom came out of the master bedroom. Xiaobao is asleep. Mom, please speak softly. Fry 2 eggs for Shanglan. Gu Shangjie cried nonstop in the middle of the night every day, which affected my sleep. Although I repeatedly told myself to be calm, I couldn't sleep well during the exam days, and my mood was greatly affected. The day the scores were announced was Gu Shangjie's full moon banquet. My parents booked the best hotel in the county and set up more than a dozen tables, 3,888 per table. The cigarettes served to the guests were all soft zhonghua. The weather was gloomy and a rainstorm was coming. Mom hugged Gu Shangjie and smiled like a flower. The guests coming and going were all praising him for his good looks and smart look. He would definitely be able to go to Tsinghua University and Peking University in the future. He is the center of the world and no one cares. Today is also an extremely important day for me. I stood by the window with my mobile phone and dialed the score-checking number. The snow-white lightning lit up the gloomy sky, and the rolling thunder came from far away, but it could not cover the mechanical broadcasting voice on the other end of the phone. I failed the exam. Not only can I not go, but the key point even 2 points lower than the score line of number 1 middle school. The right or wrong of a multiple-choice question has drawn an insurmountable gap in my life. Thunder rumbled, Gu Shangjie was frightened and cried. My mother went to the bathroom, and my father was drinking with the guests, his face flushed. I was over 40 and could still give birth to a son. Isn't it amazing? When I die in the future, my descendants will visit my grave. I held my phone and walked to the stroller that my parents bought for more than 1,000 yuan, staring at him. There were no teeth in his open mouth, only a red tongue, connected to a deep black hole that seemed to be bottomless. I lowered my head and stretched out my hand to him. At this moment my mother, who had just returned from the bathroom, ran over and knocked me to the ground. He picked up the gold nugget nervously and looked at me warily. Gu Shanglan, what do you want to do? After he asked, he saw the small blanket in my hand. My brain was broken, so I thought of covering him with the kicked-off blanket. At that moment my mother looked very embarrassed and explained that I didn't mean anything else, just my brother is still young. I was afraid you wouldn't be able to hold him. I threw him down, I threw the blanket, sneered, you guessed right, I just wanted to throw him to death. The noise was so loud that Dad was startled. He walked over submissively. Mom whispered he knew drink. Didn't I tell you not to let Shangjie out of your sight? The guests also came over. Uncle Li's daughter saw me. She was full of joy, asked me my daughter Duad was extraordinary performance. She was trapped in number 1 middle school. Shanglan, how about you? All eyes were on me for a while. Dad urged. I had forgotten about this. Tell me how you did in the exam. I'm going to give up. I didn't get into number 1 middle school. Dad's brows were furrowed so much that words could be added. Uncle Li's smile froze. He licked his lips and whispered, oh, look how happy I am. This is from the countryside. The relatives shook their heads and whispered, didn't you say that you usually have good grades and have a chance to go to a key school? The girl's psychological quality is not good. It's useless at the critical moment. She didn't even get into number 1 middle school. What great future can she have? Fortunately, Gu Huigua gave birth to a son. Shangjie will have to be relied on to bring honor to the family in the future. My mother rocked Gu Shangjie and comforted me, saying that it's okay. It will be the same when we go to number 2 middle school. I glanced at him coldly, then walked to the table of my country relatives and suddenly lifted the corner of the table. Since so much food couldn't stop their mouths, let's not eat it. The table turned over. Soup and hot pot dishes were ping-pong. I clapped my hands and walked away. I was wandering alone in Zhuozongtong Square. I saw a young father letting his daughter ride on his neck so that he could see the performance in the crowd. The little girl laughed non-stop, and the corners of her father's mouth were grinning to his temples. I saw 2 girls of my age drinking milk tea and chatting. My mother is pregnant with her second child. What will you do? They bought a house for me in the city and only wrote my name on it. I can be pregnant as long as I don't let me take the baby. At about 1 a.m., I heard a girl with a big belly crying on the phone. She was playing mahjong and using the money we were going to use to have a baby. That I asked Mom, will you support me to continue studying? Of course, Mom and Dad love you as much as they love your brother, so of course they will send you to high school. I thought it through. There's no point in arguing out of anger. If I'm not loved enough, no matter how much I act, all I get in return is disgust, not pity. The most important thing now is to take control of my future life. With my score, I won't lose money even if I have to bribe people. Only number 1 middle school in the county has acceptable teaching quality. Other high schools can't produce many students who are admitted to the first-tier universities each year. The sponsorship fee of number 1 middle school is open and transparent. 5,000 yuan per point and 10,000 yuan per point. I can enter number 1 middle school. I held his hand tighter. You know my usual grades. I made a mistake. Can you give me some sponsorship fee to send me to number 1 middle school? Okay? Mom was stunned. After a few seconds of silence, she said, Shenglan, you have been a smart and sensible child since you were young. Gold will shine wherever it is. The teachers in number 2 middle school are all graduates of regular colleges and universities. It will be the same if you go to inner school. I pulled my hand back and smiled sarcastically. The county hospital, the doctors are all regular doctors. Why did you have to go to the city for a checkup when you gave birth to your son? Go to the city's maternal and child hospital. Mom frowned. How can these two things be mixed up? I want to say a few more words. Gu Shengjie cried. Mom immediately threw it down and stood up. You should apply the rest yourself. I will discuss the district council with your dad again. The result of the discussion is naturally unwilling. At the dinner table the next day, Dad said that if you are really smart, even if you don't study hard, you can still go to Tsinghua University and Peking University. If you are not that kind of material, it is useless to send you to the city's key hospital. Mom wants to eat. Grandma changes her hands to hold the child. He pinches Gu Shengjie's face with great love and says helplessly, My dear grandson. My dear grandson frowned at me coldly. Your parents have done their best to send you to number 2 middle school. You see those girls in our village? Their parents are unfair to them when they are admitted to number 1 middle school. If it were you, I would rather not study at all. Help Dai Shengjie at home until he is 3 years old. Let your mother go back to work and make money as soon as possible, and go out to work when you are 18 years old. My mother interrupted him immediately and gave him a look. Shenglan is still so young. How can she take care of a child? Shenglan, you also have to understand Mom and Dad. We all have fixed salaries. Now that your younger brother is born, milk powder, diapers and various examinations all cost money. It is said that it is better to be the head of a chicken than the tail of a phoenix. In your case, you should be able to get a scholarship to number 2 middle school. In this way, you won't spend much money on studying. The teachers will definitely pay special attention to you, and you yourself have achieved success. Sneakers cost hundreds of yuan a pack, diapers cost 200 or 300 a set, baby clothes, imported milk powder cost 300 or 400 a can, cribs cost more than 2,000, and baby strollers cost more than 1,000. When you spend these, you can't take out the 10,000 yuan I spent without feeling sorry for it. I just think it's ridiculous. Even so, you still say that in your hearts my brother and I are the same. You lie with your eyes open. Aren't you afraid that retribution will come to your precious son? Dad was furious. He put down the dishes and chopsticks heavily, pointed at my nose. Gu Shenglan, don't be shameless. The money was earned by your mother and me. We can spend on whoever we want. Every penny of your food, clothing and other expenses is paid by us. We provide you with food and drink and send you to high school. We have been good enough to you. Look at your selfish face. Can your mother, brother and I count on you in the future? If you make trouble again, you can't go to high school. Mom kept pulling him with her hands, motioning him to stop talking. He looked at me and frowned slightly. Dad and Mom only have this much ability. We don't have so much money to raise 2 children like you. It's your own fault that you didn't do well in the exam. You should be responsible for your own behavior. If you can get the money yourself, then go to number 1 middle school. Your father and I won't stop you. Where can I get 10,000 yuan when I was 15 years old? My aunt's mobile phone has been turned off. Grandma sneered and said that your aunt is a heartless miser. You still want him to give you 10,000 yuan? Don't dream. Those relatives who advised me to understand my parents and the hard work of raising 2 children are even less likely to lend me money. Several good classmates sympathize with my situation. But they could only scrape together more than 1,000 yuan. At that time, my social circle was only in the small county town. I walked along the long street, shamelessly knocking on every door that might help me, and received many cold stares, some ridiculed, some perfunctory and some sympathetic. My mouth was dry and I was dizzy. When the moon sank, the summer heat was still not gone. Mom called me and said, You can't borrow money. Come back early. Your dad and I hope that in the future you will have a brother to help each other. Don't be so hostile to your brother. He is still so young. We should love him together. After hanging up the phone, the fire in my chest burned even more fiercely. At that moment I understood I wanted to go to number 1 middle school not just for a better future, but also as a kind of resistance to them. They didn't want to spend money and energy on me, and didn't care whether I could succeed or not, but I had to work hard and go to the highest place. In fact, to get that money I still have one last way. I have a bank card, in which I have kept all the New Year's money I have received since I was a child. This card has been open for nearly 10 years, and there should be at least 20,000 yuan in it. It is stuck with my mother, and the password is set by myself. He has always said that when I become an adult, he will give me the card to use at my own discretion. Today I finally got the chance. Gu Shengjie had a little cough at night, and my parents didn't. Don't worry, take him to the hospital. After a while, Grandma went out to buy groceries. I was the only one at home. I rushed into the master bedroom and tried to open the safe. The previous password was my parents' birthday combination, but it said it was wrong. I tried my parents' birthdays, wedding anniversary, and my birthday, but none of them worked. It seemed like I had only one last chance. I took a deep breath and entered the birthday password of Gu Shengjie. It was correct. My parents really loved him. They were so impatient to put their mark on everything in the house. I took out my own card and rushed to the ATM. After entering the password, I clicked to check the balance. After a few seconds, the interface jumped to 38.20 yuan, 438.20 yuan, 438, 1, 24 renminbi. I checked it 3 times, but it was still the same number. So where did my money go? I was anxious to know the answer, so I ran to the hospital and found them in the pediatric department. I put the card in front of my mother, and she asked me with red eyes, "Where is the New Year's money? Why is there only 38 left? I have been reluctant to spend a penny for so many years. Did you spend it all on Gu Shangjia? That was my New Year's money. Did you give it all to Gu Shangjia?" My mother hugged Gu Shangjia and took a few steps back. My father scolded me. "You opened the safe at home while we were away. You are stealing. How could I raise a daughter like you? You are so heartless. Your brother has pneumonia. You don't have any conscience at all. Don't care, only have money in your mind. Money, do you think that is your money?" Mom's tone is full of impatience. "Shangnan's New Year's money is originally a favor. You can receive the money because we gave money out. In the final analysis, that money is not yours. The family needs it. Your father and I took it to use. Your father and I are already tired enough taking care of your brother. You are almost 16. Can you be sensible? Don't always be so unreasonable. Since it is not mine, then make it clear from the beginning. Why did you lie to me? Why did you let me think that you still love me a little and care about me? Why did you let me see hope, and then be severely disappointed?" My tears rolled down, but they didn't care. Mom asked, "You didn't take the gold and silver jewelry in the safe, did you?" Seeing that I didn't answer, she winked at Dad and asked him to go home quickly. When Dad left, he glared at me and said, "If you dare to touch the gold and silver jewelry at home, I will break your legs." I was so stupid. I should have sold all those golden bracelets and necklaces. I exposed the lies they made up, and they were furious. Dad threatened, "Either you go to number 2 middle school obediently and find a way to apply for some scholarships from the school yourself, or you just don't study anymore. You can stay at home to take care of your younger brother or go out to play vagrants. You can do whatever you want. You are independent now, and your mom and I can't control it." Are you kidding me? They began to praise me. "Gu Shangjia, my little darling is so well behaved. He didn't even cry during the nebulization. He is much better than his sister. Come on, little darling, drink some more milk. When we are sick, we must drink milk well to get better quickly." The windows on the balcony were open, and the hot summer breeze poured in. I looked down and saw that the camphor tree downstairs was so small, shaking its leaves. "You want to jump off the building? I tell you, I don't buy into the idea of seeking death. Your mother and I have never treated you badly. If you want to jump, just jump. I will pretend that I have never raised you as a daughter." The camphor tree shook its hands even more happily, as if to say, "Come here, they don't like you. They only love your younger brother. What's the point of living? Come into my arms and I will take you in by force." I looked back, took a deep breath, and took 2 steps back. I couldn't die. Otherwise, they wouldn't regret it, but would scold me for being heartless and failing them in raising me for so many years. I had to live well, I had to study hard, I had to stay away from them. If I really couldn't go to number 1 middle school, then I would. At this moment, the cell phone rang. It was my aunt who had disappeared for several days. I was sent to a closed training some time ago and I couldn't bring my cell phone. "I just found out that your mother gave birth to a younger brother for you. Are you okay?" Endless grievances surged out of my heart. I hid in the room, crying and telling them everything I had experienced these days. This was my only straw. I begged, "Aunt, can you lend me 10,000 yuan? I'll write you a debt of gratitude. I will pay you back by working part-time when I get into college." My aunt was silent for a while and asked Shenglan, "Since you have such an idea, why don't we do something big? Do you want to go to a key city school?" My aunt has a college classmate who is now the director of a key city school. I owed him a big favor before. The sponsorship fee is 100,000 yuan. I will use your aunt's name to help you pay 20,000 yuan. You can write me an IOU for the remaining 80,000 yuan. Why dare you? At this point, what else can I not dare to do? But my parents don't agree. 80,000 yuan sponsorship fee, why don't you go and rob money? And it's a key city. The tuition and accommodation fees, all kinds of expenses are much higher. Shengjia needs money everywhere, we don't have the ability. Aunt said succinctly, "I will lend the sponsorship fee, including tuition and living expenses, to Shanglan. You don't have to worry." Grandma exploded. "It cost more than 100,000 yuan. You have this money, but instead of honoring me and keeping it for Shengjia, you waste it on a little girl like Shanglan. Are you crazy?" Aunt ignored her. "I lent her my money. I can lend it to whoever I want. You are short-sighted. If Shanglan can get into a good university and find a good job with an annual salary of 200,000 or 300,000 yuan, this little investment is nothing. She is capable. Can't she help your eldest grandson more?" Perhaps moved by this sentence, my parents finally agreed, but my mother whispered to me, "Don't think your aunt is really good to you. She is almost 40 years old, not married and has no children. I give you some candies now because I want you to take care of me in my old age. Your father and I raised you with great difficulty. The key is that you should know this. School started very early. Mom sent me to the dormitory, made my bed, and put all my clothes in the closet. She accompanied me to the cafeteria for dinner, and ordered my favorite braised pork ribs. When we parted, she stuffed me with 1,000 yuan, touched my hair, and said with red eyes that Mom knew she had wronged me, but Mom and Dad also had their own difficulties. You must study hard in school and get into a good university in the future. Your aunt also sold her face to let you in. Don't embarrass her. Life when the money was not enough, she called me. People are so complicated. My mother didn't love me that much, but she was afraid that the balance in my heart would lean towards my aunt. She also knew that my aunt was helping me, so she would make me strive for success. During that time, I don't know how much relatives in my hometown gossiped about me. Even if Gu Yun wanted to help his brother, he should have started with Shangjia. With Sa Shenglan's grades, he couldn't even get into number 1 middle school, but he spent so much money to send her to the city's key school. I don't know what Gu Yun was thinking. He got into a key school at that time, but his mother and brother refused to let him go, so he could only go to number 1 middle school. He held his breath and deliberately sent Shenglan there. But when I looked at Shenglan's grades, his dozen or so, I was afraid that I would not be able to pay it back. Those 3 years were the most painful 3 years in my entire academic career. When I entered school, other students who were admitted based on their own strength had already used the summer vacation to write most of the contents of the first volume of the first year of high school, but I was almost like a blank sheet of paper. I took the last place in the class in the entrance examination, and the head teacher took me to the office to scold me. No matter who got in, you have to study hard in my class and not fall behind. The road of learning is never 1 point of pain, 1 point of gain. Sometimes you try your best, but you are still not as good as the talented people. Flipping through the books, I am like a frog at the bottom of a well. I used to be trapped in a small junior high school and felt that I was the loudest. The loud one. Now coming to the river, I found that there are so many kids who are better than me. As my mother expected, I changed from the head of a chicken to the tail of a phoenix. My mother said, you see, my previous concerns are still reasonable. Number 1 is the key point and is not suitable for you. My aunt said don't compare with the best one, compare with yourself. Today's self is better than yesterday's self, and today's self is also working hard, which is enough. Water dripping wears away the stone. Takes time for success. My mother always asked me if the money my aunt gave me was enough, and whether she wanted me to give her more living expenses. My aunt never asked. She gave me a card and password, and she would transfer money to the card on the 1st of every month without delay. I studied very hard day and night. I didn't care about the teacher's cold eyes and my classmates' indifference. I went there again and again with a flattering face, asking questions I didn't understand. Every time I would get to the bottom of the questions until I understood them thoroughly. At the beginning they all disliked me, but later, probably because of my perseverance, the math class representative Zhang Li was not there. Li Cheng, who was always aloof and ranked top 3 in the grade, waved to me and said, "Come here and I will teach you." After explaining the questions, he told me not to bother Zhang Li in the future, as he couldn't even finish his own questions. If I didn't understand something, I should come to me. I seemed to know some great secret. Throughout high school, I lived on campus and in the dormitory on weekends. At this time, the dormitory manager would not stare at us and turn off the lights. Once on New Year's Day, everyone went home, and the whole it seemed like I was the only one in the dormitory building. I finished the test paper at about 2 a.m. and felt a deep chill. I went to the balcony and saw that it was snowing outside. I drank a large cup of hot water in the fine and flying snowflakes, then crawled into bed and fell into a deep sleep. Tomorrow when I wake up it will be a new day, and tomorrow when I wake up it will be another day of continued hard work. At that time, I only had winter and summer vacations, and I would go home when the school was really unable to accommodate people. The surplus holidays were getting bigger and bigger, and the space needed was getting bigger and bigger. My room was full of sundries, and the desk and bed were all filled with milk powder and diapers stored for him. He could crawl now, and his mother shouted "Xiao bao," and chased him around the room to feed him complimentary food. Dad would lift him up high and poke him with his beard to make him giggle. Such a happy scene was extremely dazzling. I was in my own room most of the time. That day, Gu Shangjia crawled to the door by himself, squatted on his butt, fell down and cried loudly. His mother threw something and rushed over in a hurry. Seeing him fall at my feet, she frowned and blamed me for kicking him, saying that he was so young and ignorant. There were too many such times. He had already preset the answer in his heart, and he would not believe it even if I explained. I kept a cold face and asked him to stay away from me so as not to affect my study. During those 3 years I endured a lot of gossip from relatives. I also saw my parents discussing buying a house in the city. There were no good kindergartens or primary schools in the county. Shengjia's education must be taken seriously to let him win at the starting line. House prices will continue to rise in the future, so let's act early. They couldn't come up with 10,000 yuan in sponsorship fees, but they sold their existing house for 500,000 yuan, raised over 1,000,000 yuan, and bought a school district house in the city with a loan. Gu Shengjia's name was written on it. I accidentally saw the property certificate. My mother explained that it was bought for my younger brother's studies, so his name was written on it. Although the house belongs to my younger brother, my mother's love for you is the same. What a clumsy lie, but I won't be disappointed again. The house has 3 bedrooms and 1 living room. The master bedroom belongs to my parents, the children's room is for my younger brother, and there is another room that is set up as a study. When I go back to live there during the winter and summer vacations, my mother will pull out the sofa bed in the study. There is no wardrobe in the study, so my clothes are folded in the suitcase and spread out next to the sofa bed. When I go back to school, I take all the etiquette with me. Every time I want to relax, every time I find it difficult to persist, I always think about it again. Tell yourself again and again, Gu Shanglan, you must strive to be better. They gave up on you. They don't care about you. You must love yourself better. Only if you stand high enough, you can see their crying faces. If you degenerate, they will say, oh, you see, the money is really wasted. You really shouldn't invest too much in girls. 3 years is long and short. I always thought there was time to overcome one more difficulty. I always thought there was time to review ancient poems. I always thought there was time to do another set of English papers, but the college entrance examination has come. On the eve of the exam, Mom called me. Your brother has a fever again. Your dad can't take leave from the unit. I will take him to get in 4 drip tomorrow. You can go to the examination room by yourself. It's okay, Mom. I've long been accustomed to your neglect. Outside the examination room, I met Li Chang. He said, you are annoying me soon. 3 years. I don't care about other subjects. You have to get at least 135 in math. Zhang Li came up from behind, grabbed his school bag and left. How can you put pressure on others like this? You think 135 in math is like buying cabbage in the market? He took Li Cheng a few steps, turned back and smiled at me. Gu Shenglan, you can do it. I filled in the answer to the first multiple choice question in Chinese. I wrote down the solution to the first big question in math. I listened to the English listening. I finished English in advance. When I checked, I suddenly thought of Gu Shangjia. Mother insisted that she learn English early, different from the support she gave me. She started to let her listen to English songs and play English dialogues when she was 1 year old. So when she uttered goodbye at the age of 1.5, Mother was so excited that tears welled up in her eyes, hugged her and kissed her again and again. My Shangjia is so smart. She is really a little genius. Actually, I am not very good at English. Wrong. He scored above 135 in every exam, but he didn't care about these and wouldn't know. The day the college entrance examination results came out was the graduation ceremony of Gu Shangjia kindergarten's little class. He participated in the performance, and his parents dressed up to attend. From the time he left home to the start of the performance, his mother posted 7 or 8 circles of friends and wrote countless short essays, saying that the child had grown up and become smarter, which made her eyes brimming with tears. I went to the internet cafe alone to check the scores. I didn't want to check them at home alone using my phone. A few minutes before the scores came out, I kept refreshing the interface. Several men next to me were smoking and playing games. While waiting for the game to start, the red-haired brother tilted his head to look at me and asked, "Sister, are you checking the college entrance examination scores?" His brothers urged him to start, but he waved his hands and asked, "Wait, don't fight over the network now. Wait for my sister to finish checking the scores." For a while, a group of men were twisting their necks. They were all holding cigarettes and they all came over talking at the same time asking, "Sister, where did you go to high school? How do you think you did in the exam? I can tell at a glance that your sister is very smart and will definitely be admitted to Tsinghua University or Peking University. The time is up, and my hands are shaking as I input the number on my admission ticket, which makes them very anxious. Oh, wrong, it's 8 not 4. The page jumped very quickly and the result came out in about 2 or 3 seconds. I closed my eyes and dared not look, and then I heard their cheers. 633 points, sister, why did you close your eyes? Look, you are so good. I rubbed my eyes several times to make sure I was not mistaken, and it was really 633 points, which was equivalent to my usual monthly exam results. I performed normally, and at that moment tears came down. Red-haired brother snapped his fingers and asked the network administrator to give each of us a bottle of ice coke to celebrate and put it on my account. It's such a good thing, you should smile a lot. The boys took turns shaking hands with me, saying they wanted to share in the good luck and bring it back to their brothers and sisters, nephews and nieces. I was very scared because with this score I couldn't get into Tsinghua or Peking University, and I wasn't that impressive. They laughed, saying that the few of us were either in junior college or second-tier universities, and the best was Red Hair who was in an ordinary first-tier university. Sister, believe in us, you are already very awesome. Red Hair brother patted my shoulder saying that, sister, look up less at the gods and look down at the people more. You will be happier that way. I burst into laughter, saying that what you said sounded quite cultured. A few boys insulted him, saying that it was a pity that I was bumped into by this boy again. Yes, there are too many geniuses in this world and too many lives that are out of my reach, but looking down at myself I have actually climbed very high, much higher than most people. The network administrator brought a Coke, and Red Hair brother unscrewed it and handed it to me. Everyone laughed and congratulated the hero sister. The plastic bottle hit a dense foam gurgling just like the flowers in my heart that are blooming. It turns out that I am not a lonely criminal. I am an indomitable hero. Xiong just took a sip of Coke when his cell phone rang. It was a hidden number. I picked up the phone and heard a gurgling, anxious sound from outside. Jinan, the results are out. How did you do? 633 points. I got 633 points. It laughed. Okay, it's about the same score as me back then. He spoke very quickly. We were in close training and could not bring cell phones. I asked for leave and borrowed the unit's phone to call you. This time they all hung up. Congratulations. Xingnan just hung up his phone when Zhongli called again. What's wrong with you? The phone was unreachable. How did you do? 633 points. How about you? He was very proud. Of course, it must be a little more than you. 658. Li Cheng's voice came out from the side. Gu Shenglan, how many points did you get in math? Is it 135? Is it exactly 135? Li Cheng was happy. It was not in vain that I explained the questions to you in the past few years. He had already obtained a place in Tsinghua University. The last time I took the college entrance examination, it was probably to accompany Zhongli. My WeChat was full of classmates and friends asking about the test scores. It took me about half an hour to reply. At this time, my mother's call finally came late. Your brother's graduation ceremony just ended. Are the scores out? Can he go to a key university? His impression of my grades is still stuck in the first year of high school. I tried my best but could only get more than 300 in the grade, so he asked such a question. I took a deep breath. I got 633 points. Can I go to a good university? 985. How suspicious is mom? You are not kidding me. I hung up the phone and sent him a screenshot of the score directly, and soon I saw that he and dad had posted similar circles of friends, congratulating their daughter on getting good results in the college entrance examination, which was worth our years of training. The Gu family has a large WeChat group, and all the aunts and uncles are there. Today, people kept tagging me, congratulating me and educating me. You can get such a result. Your parents' behind-the-scenes guidance has played an indispensable role. You must be good in the future, be filial. Your parents must help your brother. The two siblings will make progress together, and the dad is happy below. Parents' efforts for their children are what they should. His mother and I treat him and Shangjia the same, raising him up and supporting him to study, and it is also its for retirement. We have our own pension as long as he can help his younger brother in the future. This is a big happy event for our entire Gu family. When the time comes, we will invite everyone to join in the fun. They are talking to each other. It's so lively. My parents shamelessly started to teach their experience of raising a daughter, saying that they love me and treat me better than Gu Shangjia, and also said that Gu Shangjia is smarter than me. I can get more than 630 points. His baby son will definitely be able to go to Tsinghua University or Peking University in the future. The relatives flattered him. He got more and more excited. The more I watched, the more disgusted I felt. I used to be a transparent person in this group, but today is different. I must fight back. I can get this result. The first person I want to thank is my aunt. At that time, my parents, she refused to pay the sponsorship fee for number 1 middle school, and only wanted me to study in number 2 middle school so that I could get a scholarship and spend as little money as possible to leave the money for my precious son. It was my aunt who was generous with her money and her dignity to fight for the opportunity for me to get a key position, which allowed me to stand on a higher platform. The second person I want to thank is myself. During the 3 years of high school, I never slacked off. When I went home during the winter and summer vacations, I didn't have my own room and I stayed on the sofa bed in the study. Gu Shangjia was yelling outside, but I never gave up studying. 3. I want to thank my parents. Thank you for not caring about me and not interfering with my study and progress in the past 3 years. Thank you for being on guard against me, fearing that I would still be Gu Shangjia, so they didn't let me take care of the children so that I could concentrate on my studies. Thank you. Their new house without my room made me realize that I must work hard, because I have no way out. For I also want to thank my relatives who used to mock me, laugh at me and hit me. It was you who made me more determined to study hard. After posting all this, the group fell into silence. Only the silent Gugu popped up and simply replied, "Don't thank me, the money is lent to you. You just need to thank yourself for never giving up." My father called and scolded Gu Shanglan. "What the hell are you posting? You have studied in vain for so many years. Who taught you to talk to your parents and elders like this? You are so conscienceless and uneducated. Believe it or not, I will not let you study in this university." I moved my phone away. After he had vented, Jingjing asked, "How can you stop me from going to college? It was my birthday a week ago. I turned 18 and became an adult. You can no longer perform my duties as my guardian. As for tuition, it is all student loans now. I can earn my living expenses by working part-time, but I think you didn't want to pay for my tuition and living expenses. Or you can complain to the Education Bureau and say that I am unfilial and disrespectful and unworthy of going to college, and ask them not to admit me." Gu Huiguo was furious. "You conscienceless little bitch, are you going to piss me off to death? You are so capable, so don't come home in the future. I'll obey you, okay? This time I'll listen to Dad and won't go home to disturb you. Our family of 3 is living happily together, and I've been prepared for it. In the past few years, the school required me to fill in the family contact address, and I always left my aunt's address and the contact person's address. My Aunt Zhongli's family has an idle old house that can be lent to me temporarily. My head teacher also helped me contact several tutors. I just need to wait for my college entrance examination scores to meet the requirements, and then I can go to work on the other party's children during the summer vacation." Later, I filled in the application and went to the best university in my aunt's city. He also graduated from that university. After the admission letter came, I posted a circle of friends. In the evening, my mother called me and said that she was going to hold a celebration banquet for me, and the venue was set at a certain hotel. After all, we are a family, so there is no overnight grudge. Your brother is young, and he is either sick or in pain all day long. Naturally, your parents pay more attention to him. But during those 15 years when he was not here, Mom and Dad only had you in their eyes. Next week's banquet is specially held for you. You must come back. Mom, don't pretend. Did you love me before? Don't you know it yourself? Before I had a younger brother, I could still deceive myself. Every child is different. Every parent is different. Maybe Mom and Dad just don't know how to express their love. They have me in their hearts, but after they had a younger brother, that thin layer of paper was punctured, revealing the bloody reality underneath. They don't love me, they only care about my food, drink, and how I grow up because I am their only child. Mom is angry with you, child. Why can't you explain it to her? Open your eyes and see for yourself. Your father and I have been good enough to you. Look at your cousins in the countryside. Which one of them has such good conditions as you? But Mom, love is not a vertical comparison, it is a horizontal comparison. I only need to compare with my brother. Love is a balance. What is worrying is not the lack of it but the inequality. You keep adding weights on my brother's side, lifting me high up in the clouds. If I am not careful, I will be smashed to pieces. Now you blame me. Why are you unwilling to understand your kindness? Why are you not brave enough? I sternly refused to cooperate in the drama of a loving father and a filial son, but they still held a banquet as scheduled to celebrate my admission to a certain university. The banquet for me did not require my presence. It was really funny. I mentioned I went to the school a while ago to celebrate my aunt's 40th birthday. She took me to dinner with a bunch of friends. She put her arm around my shoulders and said, "This is my niece. She will come here to study at university in the future. Her friends are all very kind. They are nieces and school friends. We will be your real uncles and aunts in the future." After 3 rounds of drinks, Aunt Lee said, "Xiaoyun and Aiken have been gone for so many years. It's not a good thing for you to be alone. You should find someone." My aunt interrupted her and said, "I'm fine being alone now. I like being alone." She said it with a smile, but I saw the tears she was trying to hold back in her eyes. It turned out that the calm and strong aunt would also be like this. At this vulnerable moment, I reached out and held his arm and said loudly, "Aunt, how can you be alone? You still have me." Aunt smiled and rubbed my head, saying, "Yes, I still have my older niece." Later I learned that Aiken was my aunt's college lover. They joined the same unit and had set a date for their wedding. My uncle's daily job was dangerous, and he was targeted by gangsters for revenge that time. In order to protect my aunt, my uncle lost his life. He proved his love with his life. My aunt was worse off than me. Her grandparents neglected her even more since she was a child. It was my uncle who gave her strong love and allowed her to get out of her original family. But my uncle died in his best years. My aunt has seen the most perfect love in the world and met the purest lover. She can never fall in love with others and has been single until now. After attending university, I was very busy studying. I also learned video editing and product promotion with several classmates. In those years, short videos were booming. This job was not complicated, but it could bring in a lot of income, more than enough to cover my own tuition and living expenses. I also saved money and slowly paid off the debt I owed to my aunt. I asked you to write an IOU so that those relatives at home don't have to borrow money from me. You don't have to really pay it back. I insist that you must pay it back. My aunt was paying back the money, something that cannot be repaid. I knew very well that she was sincere in helping me, otherwise what fool would invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in a 15 or 16-year-old child? Not long after I went to college, I encountered the epidemic and the school started online classes. My mother called me and asked me to tell me in advance if I came back, because the virus is so serious outside and your brother is weak. I interrupted her and told her not to worry, I won't go back, so where can you go? I went to my aunt's house. She had given me the key to her house a long time ago. My mother was silent and asked, "Is your aunt still single? How much money do you owe her? Don't let her hold you accountable for what you owe her. As for the money, I want you to provide for her in her old age. She is over 40. If she doesn't get married, she won't be able to have children. Don't rely on you when she is old." I smiled and said I was willing to do so. My aunt is good to me. I am willing to provide for her in her old age, but you are our child. What am I saying? I raised my voice. Didn't Dad say that after he has a son, he would just pretend that he had never given birth to a daughter like me? What your dad said was all angry words. You said I was pregnant for 10 months and gave birth to the baby, but I was in labor for 3 days. I didn't want to listen anymore and hung up the phone. Since you gave birth to me with so much hardship and pain, why didn't you love me a little more? The impact of the epidemic on my parents is huge. The biggest one is the point is that Gu Huigua lost his job. Before, he and his wife both worked in formal units in the county town. They didn't have much money, but later, in order to buy a school district house for Gu Shangjia, the couple paid a down payment of 1 million and gritted their teeth to buy a house in the city for more than 2 million. His mother tried her best to transfer to a state-owned construction unit in the city, while Gu Huigua resigned and went to a company with a good salary. He couldn't afford the high monthly mortgage and couldn't afford the house without changing jobs. However, when the epidemic came, the company's export performance declined sharply, and it had to lay off employees. Gu Huigua was old, had a high salary, and had not been in the company for long, so it was a layoff. The best choice for Gu Huigua. He is already 45, which is an awkward age. The economic situation is not good. Where can he find a suitable job? After Gu Huigua lost his job, the pressure of the family mortgage came. My mother gritted her teeth and persisted for half a year. Finally, Gu Shangjia was transferred from the expensive bilingual kindergarten to an ordinary public kindergarten. He began to call me every now and then to complain that Gu Huigua could not find a job and now he just stayed at home and spent all his money. He said that Gu Shangjia got hand, foot and mouth disease after transferring to another school and infected several children in the class, causing him to be ostracized by his classmates. He said that their unit was not doing well, and the quarterly and half-year bonuses were already cancelled. I basically just listen and rarely reply, only replying once sometimes. Maybe you will ask why I have not deleted their WeChat. I am just waiting for this moment, just want to open my eyes and see. They are doing their best to drag their baby son. Will God let them get their wish and live a prosperous life? Now it seems that God is fair, and gave me some mercy and comfort at this moment. My mother's circle of friends posts less and less, and she no longer brags about her son. However, the voice complaints she sent to me are becoming more and more frequent. In the second semester of sophomore year, she called me crying, "Shenglan's mother, you are wrong. Mom should not have treated you like this before. Mom, I heard that you can earn a lot of money by working part-time at school. Can you help, Mom? The mortgage for our house is going to be defaulted." I was surprised. "Mom, I am in college and you didn't pay for my tuition and living expenses. Now you are asking me for money to pay the mortgage. How can you ask for it?" Gu Huigua shouted from the side. "We raised you to this age, you should give something in return. You should contribute. I am in a dilemma. What can I do? I am a college student and I can only go to school with loans. I can't take out extra money, but I still love you very much in my heart. I have a lot of love. Do you want it?" Gu Huigua, I was furious. I kept cursing her, "Little bitch, little bastard," and my mother started arguing with her on the phone. Enough is enough. She is your daughter. If you scold her, you are scolding yourself. If you were not incompetent, the family would not have fallen to this point. If you can't talk, just shut up. I heard my mother close the door. There was faint crying of Gu Shangjia and roar of Gu Huigua on the phone. "Why are you crying? If I hadn't given birth to you, I wouldn't have fallen to this point." My mother pleaded in a low voice, "Shanglan, your father and I were partial to your younger brother in the past, but we have never treated you badly in terms of food, clothing and daily expenses. If you can't come up with the money, just borrow 50,000 from your aunt. Mom will only. He is in a hurry to get 50,000 yuan. Your aunt has no children, so it is useless to keep so much money. She only listens to you. Why doesn't he go and grab the 50,000 yuan? I said coldly, "You can sell the house." Mom vetoed. Now the housing prices have fallen. We will lose too much if we sell the house, and your brother still has to go to school. Just hold on a little longer and wait for the housing prices to go up a little, and your dad to find a job. Around 2016, housing prices experienced a round of almost doubling growth. He bought the school district house in early 2018, when the housing prices were high. After the epidemic, the economy was in recession and housing prices were also declining. Without a boost in the economy, how could housing prices continue to soar? Until now you are still dreaming. When you and dad are old and need support, I will give you money every month according to the regulations. But you want me, a college student, to pay for my brother's house. This is not possible. Either you give me half of the share of this house, then I can think of a way. He doesn't want you, a girl. When you get married in the future, the man will prepare the house. What do you want the house for? Besides, you may not be snobbish in the future. Just help your mother this time. When your mother begs you, please, if not, I will flatly refuse. Shin smiled and said, I also asked you to sponsor me to go to #1 middle school before, and I have asked you many times. Mom cried. I was wrong. We were wrong. Please help and beg your aunt. Okay, we are your parents. Shungjie is your brother. I was too lazy to listen and hung up the phone. Later, he shamelessly begged his aunt, but it was a pity that his aunt was always in various trainings, and the phone was often unreachable. Even if I finally got through, she would not answer. When I was a junior, my mother's unit not only failed to pay the half-year bonus and year-end bonus, but even the salary could not be paid on time. They finally couldn't hold on. Gu Shangjia was in elementary school and sold the house. The house price fell a lot. They only got back part of the down payment. The down payment was not enough to buy another house. There was no house in the city, so they could only coordinate their studies. Gu Shangjia was divided to a dish. The young mother's circle of friends rarely shows off her baby, but all forwards various links. If you collect a certain number of likes, you can get a small gift for free. When my grandpa Bao was born, Gu Weiguo was appointed to deliver food, but he had a bad temper. He was late and quarreled with the customers. In the end, he was fired. Later, he was forced by his mother to be a security guard. I heard that when he went to the school to pick up Gu Shangjia and his work clothes, he was despised. Why do other people's fathers drive cars, but you can only ride an electric car? Why are they bosses and you are a security guard? Did my aunt or sister secretly give birth to a child? They all say that you are like my grandparents in age. Gu Huiguo was so angry that he had a heart attack. His mother's hair turned half white. The fastest knife is stabbed by the one who loves the most, so it hurts the most. Postscript. On my 24th birthday, my aunt gave me the card I used to study in high school. The money you called me for in the past few years is in this card. Just think of it as your aunt's money for you. With this money, you will have the confidence to choose to continue gambling and enter into a relationship, or stay single for the rest of your life. The moonlight was very bright that night. I think my future is still very long. Every night in the future will be so bright. I think Gu Huiguo and his mother's life will also be very long. After all, Gu Shengjie is only 8 years old. The full text is over.